Why should you stop buying your $5 lattes? This video is a free lecture from the Personal Finance Masterclass and our free Personal Finance mini course. And by the end of this lecture, you're going to be wanting to cut out those $5 coffees from your budget. In this video, we're learning about reducing expenses versus increasing income. And in this video, I want to show you that increasing your income is actually not as good as reducing your expenses at speeding up financial freedom, at getting to retirement earlier. And at the end of this video, I'll show you how cutting out things like your daily $5 latte can get you $600,000 after 30 years. First, let's look at the expenses versus income scenario. In the last video, you saw how important the savings rate was to achieving financial independence. So I want to show you that reducing your expenses actually increases your savings rate quicker than increasing your income. So we have an example. Say you are a person and you make $10 a month. You can change this to $100,000 or $50,000 or whatever, but this is just for example. Say you make $10 a month and you have $8 of expenses. That means you spend 80% of your money and have a 20% savings rate. If you increase your income by $2 and you keep your expenses at $8, you have a 33% savings rate. But instead, if you didn't get that $2 increase in income but decreased your expenses by $2, you would have a 40% savings rate. 40% savings rates will achieve financial independence way sooner than someone that is saving 33% of their money. The thing is though that when people make more money, they tend to spend more money. So in reality, if you increased your income by $2, you would probably increase your expenses by $2 or maybe $1, but for smart people, but typically people who make more money spend that money. And if you make $12 and spend $10, you have only a 17% savings rate. That's not good at all. The golden ticket is if you can make more money and reduce your expenses. If you have $12 in income and $6 in expenses, that means you have a 50% savings rate. And that means financial freedom is fast approaching for you. So now that you know that reducing your expenses is a great way to achieve financial independence sooner, let's look at those luxuries that you spend your money on to hopefully inspire you to cut those out of your budget. There's something called the Latte Factor that shows how much your money would actually be if instead of spending it, you invested it. So basically what you do is take your weekly expenses, multiply it by 752. We're assuming an average rate of return and inflation of 7% rate of return and 4% inflation. This has been the average rate for the past 100 years. While we can't base our future projections on what's happened in the past, this is a very safe return and inflation to use. And so if you took that $10 of weekly expenses and instead invested them, you would have over $7,520 in 10 years. Let's go a little bit further. If you could take $50 a month instead of the $10 and invest that $50, you would have over $37,000 after 10 years. Let's go even a little bit further. If you could find $500 of expenses, cut it out from your budget, and invest it instead, you would have over $600,000 in 30 years. If you're 30 years old and you're looking for a retirement fund, start cutting out your expenses. $500 a month, while that seems like a lot, I think you can find ways to get to that number. Things like a gym membership, cable membership, eating fast food or eating out at lunch, going to fancy restaurants a couple times a month. Those are expenses that you could cut out. If you drove less, biked to work, took public transportation, walked to the store, walked to the restaurants instead of driving, that could help. If you could carpool to work. These are all things you could do to get to that $500. And if you can do that and invest that, $600,000 in 30 years. You might be saying though, why don't I just spend that money? I'm enjoying spending that $500. Well, think about it this way. Over 30 years, if you spend that $500, you're actually spending only $180,000. So 500 times 12 months times 30 years, $180,000. Would you rather have spent that $180,000 on things like your cable membership, your gym membership, driving to work, or would you rather have $600,000 saved up in a retirement fund? Maybe you do want to spend that $180,000. Maybe those things like cable, a Netflix subscription, driving to work, those are important or necessary. I just want to show you what your money could do if you did decide to cut out that $5 latte every day and instead invested it. The choice is yours now. Now you have the information, and it's time to go out, start saving more money, start investing more money, and achieve financial independence. So I hope you like that video. This is just a sample of the type of video you will be getting in the free Personal Finance Principles course and the Personal Finance Masterclass. So click on the links below if you want to enroll in either of those classes. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in another video.